Hi, my name is Sienna Smith, and in September 2011, my family and I set off on a big world trip. We said goodbye to Vancouver and flew over the Atlantic Ocean to Croatia, in Europe, the first country on our big world trip. We went to Dubrovnik, a really old city with huge walls all around it. It has a big main street, but most of the streets are narrow, and all the houses have red roofs. We found a place to have ice-cold drinks, and I jumped off the rocks into the Adriatic Sea. We played on rocky beaches and pebbly beaches, and hiked around some beautiful lakes, and swam out to waterfalls. On the island where the explorer Marco Polo was born, I nearly got shot by a cannon. From Croatia, we flew to Istanbul, the biggest city in Turkey that is half in Europe and half in Asia. The Blue Mosque was really cool to see. It has thousands of blue tiles. Everybody loved our blonde hair, and they gave us lots of yummy Turkish delights. People loved the toilets in Ephesus, but I thought the library was the most impressive. My favorite place was the Blue Lagoon. The hotel was super fun. My dad got to go paragliding, and the beach was amazing. Cappadocia has huge rock pinnacles with caves that people used to live in. We climbed inside a few. Even our hotel was a cave. But the best part was zooming through the pinnacles in a hot air balloon.
It's like a Anakin Skywalker doing a little canyon.
Our next stop was Jordan, a small country in the Middle East. We went to Petra, one of the wonders of the world. They carved many beautiful buildings into the rocks. A donkey gave us a ride up 1,000 stairs to the famous monastery. We saw men in long robes and a woman covered in black. The salty water from the Dead Sea made it really easy to float. We camped in Wadi Rum Desert and had lots of fun scrambling up the dunes and jumping down. Then, we rode camels out of the desert. They made really funny noises. After Jordan, we went to Egypt to see the 5,000-year-old pyramids and the Sphinx. The pyramids were built from massive stones, but I was able to pick them up pretty easily. In the Valley of the Kings, we went into the tombs that were decorated with amazing pictures. We saw real-life mummies in the museum and all of King Tut's treasures. I tried to figure out how to write my name in ancient Egyptian writing. We cruised down the Nile, the longest river in the world, played frisbee on the riverbank, and saw ancient temples and huge statues. After that, I went on safari to the Serengeti Game Reserve in Tanzania. Our Land Rover's roof popped up, so we could stick our heads out and look for animals. We drove through millions of wildebeest. We saw giant giraffes, watched hippos lying in the mud, and got super close to lions. I also went to an orphanage, visited a Maasai village, and got to play with the kids in their tiny school. It was so cute to see the babies at the elephant orphanage drink their bottles. From there, we went to Cape Town, South Africa. We walked to the top of another wonder of the world, Table Mountain, where my parents got engaged. We spent lots of time at the beach, playing in the waves. We even got to see penguins. I sat on an ostrich, climbed through some really deep caves, and went on a bunch of long hikes. In Cape Town, we saw where Mandela's prison cell was, and a shark swam right over my head. My mom grew up in South Africa, so I had lots of friends for my 9th birthday. We visited a poor township where many people lived in shacks. In one of the nicer homes, we drummed to some African music. Then we flew all the way across the Indian Ocean to Australia. We took the train along the Bustleton Jetty, climbed massive trees, and tried some weird Aboriginal food. We biked everywhere on Rottenish Island and swam at amazing beaches. I caught my first wave and got stung by a bluebottle, so I stuck to Frisbee on Smith's Beach. We went to an opera at the Sydney Opera House and camped in the Blue Mountains. I was really excited to go to Bondi Beach. I cuddled with koala bears and met some very friendly kangaroos at the nature park.
Ouch, okay. Aww, he's actually giving me a hug! I love this guy. Can I marry him?
After Australia, we took a quick flight to New Caledonia, a French island in the South Pacific. We stayed on a friend's boat, watched Spider-Man with our little buddy Seb, and hung out on the trampoline. I paddled my dad over to the beach, and we built lots of neat sandcastles. The water in La Piscine Lagoon was crystal clear. One day, we took the dinghy out to snorkel over a cliff in the water. I got out pretty fast when I got my second bluebottle sting. I watched movies the whole way across the Pacific Ocean to San Francisco, where we stopped for a few days on our way to Peru. We hung out with good friends and saw the sights of the city. We flew all the way to South America, to Lima, Peru, where my great aunt and uncle live. Lima is dry, but we got really wet. We volunteered at Celes, a community center outside Lima, taught the kids a dance, and put up a huge map about our world. We got altitude sickness in Lake Titicaca, but did get out to meet families living on floating reed islands. My parents hiked the Inca Trail, and we all met up at Machu Picchu, our last wonder of the world. My room in the Amazon had one wall open to the jungle. I woke up to the sound of macaws and howler monkeys. At least this guy didn't wake up next to me. The night walk was cool, but the mud walks were the best. From Peru, we flew to Ecuador, to the Galapagos Islands. We went on boat rides, and my parents snorkeled with sharks and sea turtles. There are giant tortoises on many of the islands. One day, I was biking along, and I came across this tortoise. We also met Lonesome George, the last tortoise of his kind. I watched marine iguanas hugging each other on the black lava rocks, and my dad giggled every time he saw a blue-footed booby. The sea lions were so cute. They hung out by our hotel pool, slept on park benches, and became good friends with the fishermen. After all this traveling, we needed to relax, so we hung out by the beach in Costa Rica. We stayed in some really cool surf towns, and I got much better at catching waves. We just chillaxed, ate some yummy treats, set up our Playmobil zone, and goofed around on the beach. And then it was time to take our last Flat Stanley photo.